Oh, hello everyone. We're back. Uh,
Whoa.
whoa. Who's this? We had left off at a contentious point as a camel that was freshly summoned by Casimir was just sucked down into the sand.
There are seven left.
There are seven remaining, which means I guess Jasper's going to have to walk, and by walk I mean fly. As the evidence was building that this was some kind of maybe a merchant's encampment that had been savaged by sand dogs. The fire was put out by some create water by Celine.
Yeah, that was a first level spell slot, by the way. It defaulted to third for some reason.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I trust you all are tracking your spell slots here. They're a valuable resource.
Yeah, and I'm running very low.
And we're gonna call an initiative. Now, in this case, I'm not necessarily asking for a surprise round. I know, Jacob, you act well in this situation. However, there was a precursor to this because there was a strong suspicion, and then near irrefutable evidence that a sand dog, let alone many, possibly in sort of like a mating season heat, one of them just took the camel down in the sands. So what I would like each of you to do, por favor, is to roll initiative. And, oh, Jacob wanted to act, but Bright wanted it more. Bright with that green 23, nice.
Mordecai with the follow-up on.
Oh, shoot. Oh, but look at you soft flexing on Bright. I have a black 23. It doesn't have to be green. Which one of you two would like to go first then?
Well, mine was green. I should get to go first.
I think that's fair.
Bright can go first.
Okay. Jacob with a solid 18. Casimir with an 8. Celine with a 5. That's excellent cleric speed. And then I get to roll.
You get cleric initiative, but you're not the healer.
It's like I'm a DPS cleric.
That's hey, in 5th edition, I like that flexibility. Clerics do not have to be the healer of the party.
Well, instead it's your bard.
All right. So the scene. Before I get into the encounter here, it is bright light. If you have need of shadow, there are some shadows of sand dunes that are not too far away. I'm going to say that there is this. There's several tents that would end up being like a 20-foot core of smoldering wood and cloth that were some tents and some wagons that are in the middle. And all of you can be somewhere around there. The water or the fire is put out, so you don't have to worry about catching on fire. And there's also interspersed close by to you all are 7 camels. And then the camel that was furthest out apparently is the one that got gobbled. And so, Casimir, I'll say that was, I don't know, like 20 feet away from you. So it was pretty close. But one of your camels did get picked off. There's a wind, but it's not really going to affect. Projectiles or anything along those lines. Any battlefield condition questions you have?
Currently not.
All right. If not, then we are going to go in the order of Bright, Mordecai, Investigator Jacob Stillwaters, Casimir. I get to do something, and then Celine. Celine gets to react to everything that's happened. All right, so Bright, there's no sand dogs that are visible, but I guess in this moment, there is kind of a little sinkhole where this camel just got slurped down into the sand. What would you like to do?
Okay, so who wants me to try something interesting? Okay, that's all I needed.
Bright needed not even a simple majority, just a simple or a majority, and Mordecai, we got the simple, so.
I was only looking for one vote. That's all I needed. So I'm really sorry about this, Casimir.
Oh. Okay. So Casimir is getting banished. So charisma saving throw, Casimir.
And he was never seen again. Spell only lasts for 1 minute. Never seen again.
I mean, he's not really native to the plane that we're on, so.
At least we think we're in the Feywild. We don't know. He might be gone from this whole excursion.
Well, it's only a science experiment. Okay, so that's not gonna pass my DC. So
Bye, Casimir.
Casimir's gonna disappear, but it's only temporary, I promise.
Maybe.
So Casimir, Bright looks around like, oh, hey, what's cool? Or, I want to do something cool. And Mordecai's like, yeah, sure. Turns around, Casimir, and you flicker for a moment, and maybe Bright was pulling a trick on you. You're here, Casimir. There's still sand in your boots. Bright, your spell went off. Like, you felt the mojo. You felt that little, like, static snap release of the spell, the energy through your body.
So, what do I see from my perspective? Does he disappear? Does the environment disappear?
Casimir flickered for a moment and then is still standing there. Kind of.
That's not surprising.
Interesting.
Magic doesn't follow the same rules here.
Huh. I'm gonna have to do science on that later.
Anything else from you, Bright?
No, that's all.
Okay.
Oh, I'll go ahead and end the concentration on the spell.
Okay. There is still, because you do have to concentrate to keep the spell up. Like it's like, you catch a fish and you feel it wiggling on the line. You still, you have the feeling of there's something on your line, but Casimir's still standing in front of you.
Okay. Well, I'll hang on to it for a second then and see what happens next turn.
Yeah, I should have included that. I forgot that was a concentration spell. But there's definitely a something. Yeah, your spell is still active on something. Maybe this is some weird Kazaclone or something that's been replaced, or who knows. But we'll find out. Mordecai, what are you doing here?
Well, my first thought is to cast Locate Creature, because I want to know where all these sand dogs are within 1,000 feet of us.
Sure.
So I pull out my violin and I start playing a song to locate sand dogs.
And then you're going to probably get pings from everywhere underneath you when we're gonna dread what comes next.
Alright. Mordecai, there are... There are 4 sand dogs that are all within 20 feet of you.
Butts.
Is it the rest of the party?
And none of them are below you.
What?
They're probably on level with the sand. Like, not on top of the sand, but like kind of in the sand, just on the surface. Kind of like a shark in the water.
When I look, and I notice, I know where my pings are coming from. When I look at each of my party members, is it them?
Yes.
You guys are all sand dogs.
I mean, you thought I was a dragon last time, so it's not surprising.
I'm not a sad dog.
You're coming up as my thing as a sand dog.
Yeah,
Mordecai,
well,
you
you
might
expect
find the
magic
sun
to
too
work in the same way as you think it does in the material plane here, of all places?
Anything else, Mordecai?
Did you attempt to adjust the antenna?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, adjust
Your
transmission,
tail.
Mordecai.
He can sway he's gonna do everything he can to try and get enemies on this thing.
Sure. Okay. Kind
Not
of
his party members.
Maybe
jut
I
your
need
butt
to
out
try
and
to
wiggle
find
your tail around. All right. Anything else, Mordecai, or are we going over to Investigator Jacob Stillwaters?
Jiggle the connection a little.
I'm going to inspire Jacob.
All right. Jacob, you have a power cord inspiring you to do something. What would you like to do? Oh. Oh. Did we freeze up?
Derek.
I see his camera is he's okay, there we go.
Thinking.
Little
We have an obvious.
You had us here.
There's no targets, yeah, not so far.
And I don't have a lot of options. The only thing I can do, I guess I need to protect Bright, since Bright's the most likely thing to get eaten here.
Sure. That's very big of you.
Bigger than her, anyway.
All right. So you're gonna move over towards Celine and have your I mean, you guys a reaction.
I have a use for that or for the bonus action.
Okay.
So I have a theory.
Then anything else before we continue?
I'm going to think of Rack of Lamb.
Okay.
That's it. That's my big. Thought.
Okay. You salivate a little bit. Casimir?
Alright.
What are you doing here?
For my summoned camels, I'm going to order them to scatter.
Okay.
That is not an action or anything. It's just command.
Nope.
Then I have to concentrate on that, so I will just take the dodge action.
Sure. All right. I would have disadvantage on attacking you, and you have advantage should I need you to make a dexterity saving throw. All right. Then we come down to myself, and I am going to get to do a few things. Rupturing forth from the sands beneath you. Now, this is rupturing from the sands beneath you, Mordecai. Let's go. Okay. So, Bright, the sands stir, and suddenly in an explosion of very tiny rocks, aka sand, one of these creatures blows out of the earth at you and is trying to pounce upon you. And it from even like a good distance away, like the one just must have been really close, and it is going to it's going to try and leap upon you, and you must make a saving throw, and you get to choose if you'd like to make a strength or a dexterity saving throw.
That's pretty easy choice for me. Doesn't matter though.
Okay, so unfortunately in this instance, the pounce will connect, and you are knocked prone, and you are going to take... you're going to take 16 bludgeoning damage and...
Big ouch.
17 slashing damage.
Could I cutting word some of that damage?
If you can, it uses a reaction, right?
It uses a reaction, and I believe it reduces the damage if you for a saving throw. If someone has to make a saving throw. Ability check or damage roll, you can use your reaction to spend one of your bonus experts.
You could drop the damage roll, not the you could drop the damage roll, but you can't do the
Right.
can't affect a save. So you could drop the damage.
And drop damage is only dropped by 2 though.
Okay.
Sorry. I
You
tried.
tried. You tried.
Not very insulting.
Every hit point can count in a situation. So, all right. So Bright, this thing comes crashing out of like a shark in a wave. Well, it's a land shark out of a sand dune here, and it just bowls into you, and you are prone underneath this thing. And as we know, sand dogs, or the buoys, or the buettes even, as the Shadowheart call them, just have these armored plates that come down to like a pointed tip here, and the mouth partially opens, and as it does, the jaw, the lower jaw opens, and the plates slide back, almost like lips, and behind the metallic beak, inside, so like what would be like where a tongue would sit in a mouth, inside is a giant head of Jacob, and his mouth is open wide, and you just see saliva just pouring down from his mouth as this thing's head pulls back to reveal Jacob atop you, getting ready to eat your other floof.
Please don't eat my other floof.
And now I need Celine to make a strength or a dexterity saving throw, please.
It's gonna be dexterity. No whammies.
Hey. Alright, so you are only going to take half of this damage. And I'm just going to combine it all unless you have something that hits different sources at the same, or at different times.
Different,
Okay.
not in terms of,
So,
slashing.
a mix of bludgeoning or slashing. I guess you're going to take 15... So you're going to take 15 damage. You are not knocked prone. You are not knocked prone, but you are pushed back as this thing leaps out, and you kind of like spin and like push yourself off, and it lands. And so you're pushed away a little bit here in the sand. And this thing also turns to you, and it... And you see from its beak, there's just this drool, and its face also, the beak, the plates peel back. And the one that attacked you is Kazimar. Kazimar wants to just eat you up. I'd say that Casimir's thirsty, but obviously he's producing more drool than is consuming. So
my banishment didn't even banish that. Okay.
Oh, actually, no, I'm sorry. It is Mordecai. Ooh, even better. Mordecai's I rolled a d4 for a reason. Mordecai's face is the one that's maybe you wanted it to be Casimir. Oh my. It's Mordecai. So the face of Mordecai is revealed as this beak peels back, and he opens his mouth, fangs dripping. There's just this clear drool pouring down. and Mordecai.
It's my turn now, is it not?
I still have two more. I still have two
you
more
got
sand
two
dogs,
more.
and I get to have a sand dog pile on Casimir because I rolled Casimir twice. And so, Casimir, I need you to make a strength or dexterity saving throw. Once and then again. But we'll handle it one at a time.
Yep. I get to add my shield's bonus to my dex save.
Ooh, all right.
So 22. And if this is a save for half damage, I do not take damage.
You have to make this save though. For half damage.
You did in the for the first one. And then okay. So you did make the save, and so you hear like sand exploding behind you. You turn around and you brace as you're knocked to the side. You're still moved 5 feet, even though you didn't take damage as a part of the save, though. However, this thing just spanks off your shield. And is even like creating like some sparks off of it with its gritty, like almost like a metal hide. And just as that's happening, Casimir, it turns and the face peels back, and it is going to be bright. Like just you think it's a tongue at first that kind of like lolls out the side, and it just turns out to be like a floof of pink hair as the rest of the beak peels back, and there's Bright's face staring at you. Her mouth is open and salivating with the lolling floof out the side. And at that moment, you look at Bright and you're like, you hear something off to your side. And you look over, clever girl, as Celine Sanddog is going to pounce on you, and I need you to make another dexterity save.
You got her,
I don't know,
birdie,
so
man.
that's 2.
All right, so Bright and Celine tried to tag team you here. Bright came out, and knocked you around. You saw for an instant just that the floof in the face. You turn around, you're like, oh, hang on, this is brace for imp, and sure enough. You carrying the momentum, another sand dog comes in. This one, as it's leaping, like it's already retracting its face plates to have Celine try and nom on you, and you just shield right in the beak as it's retracting, and you flex it over to the side. And you're moved another 5 feet, but it's just sort of like you're leaving kind of streaks in the sand. But you take but you are going to take some damage for this, since Bright used up your shield. Slash... And you are going to take... that was a pretty powerful... 12 damage. Mixture of bludgeoning and slashing. I don't know if it matters for you, though, Casimir. Alright, so, in the battlefield here, Bright, you are prone with Jacob sort of slobbering atop you here. Jacob Sanddog. Kaz has Bright and Celine kind of like stalking like in a circle around him, snarling. And Celine, you have Casimir that is...
Mordecai.
Or I'm sorry, that has Mordecai. I forgot to change my note down here. Mordecai. I don't know. Mordecai might be in heat. It is that season, apparently, according to Casimir. So, and then there is no apparent sign of Casimir Sanddog. We are now down to you, Celine. You are in melee with Mordecai Dog. Mordog Kai.
I'm sorry, dear. This really isn't about you, but I need to let off some steam bursting first spiritual weapon.
Sure. The scythe.
Well, the first one is procced. There's a 15 hit.
One moment. It does not. No, your scythe scrapes across this hard hide.
I will. Okay. Well, no, instead it's gonna eat Sunblade when it wants to appear. Oh, wow. Wow, no. My, I have Derek rolls today.
Okay, so some of Mordecai's like slobber like splashed onto you, and you miss the activation of your Sunblade because your sword kind of just almost like slips out of your hand, but you catch it at the last moment. All right,
Those were terrible.
Bright, you are beneath Jacob. Your back is to the sand. What are you doing here?
I should probably make a Constitution check to.
Oh
keep my
yeah,
concentration.
that's true.
15. I think that would do it.
I think that
What's the damage?
'Cause
What damage did you take?
B1.
that.
So half of that would be 15. So that would make it.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
a pass.
ooh, just barely. Bright, you're gritting your teeth, but that's probably because you have a lot of sand and grit in your teeth. But you managed to hold your concentration.
Okay. That's good. Okay, so Jacob is lying on top of me
Yes.
in a totally sand dog platonic way.
Yeah. Oh, it's completely platonic sand dog. Yeah, he only wants to eat you. It's nothing. It's nothing untowards.
Okay. So
We didn't get approved for that.
yeah, I don't know. I guess all I can do is literally. What happened? Oh no, something's happening. I guess all I can do is hit Sand Jacob with a shocking grasp.
Sure.
25. Hooray.
Yeah. Yep.
So how much damage am I taking?
13 lightning.
Alright,
But
13
it's
lightning.
not really to you. It's just to your sand dog. Well, maybe it's to you.
Are
We'll
you
find out.
sure?
No, I have no idea.
I
But
think I know what Matty had planned.
we'll see
Jacob.
what happens.
Jacob shakes and quivers as you electrocute Jacob Sanddog that's atop you.
Well, now we know.
Oh, this is real.
If that's the case, where's Celine's sand dog? I have
Next
some
to me.
frustrations to work out.
Sorry.
No.
Selena's on Casimir.
It's this one.
Yeah. Oh, over here.
Well, with all due respect, investigator, you can eat a beep.
Anything else, Bright? Are you wanting to stand up? Are you bonus actioning
No.
something?
I don't have a bonus action that I want to use right now, but
Okay.
standing up would be nice. If the zap moves the sand dog off of me far enough.
It doesn't. You're technically just knocked prone, so it's kind of before you. It's not like straddled over you.
Okay.
But I also wasn't
I'll
worried
stand
about disadvantage or anything like that because it was also really close. So just circumstances. You can use half your movement to stand.
Yeah. Okay, I'll do that.
Okay. All right. So you're standing. Very good.
Okay.
And-
Now we understand what happens. We damage each other if we hit it, so we won't be able to hit them. We'll have to come up with a different way.
Mordecai, we're over to you. Jacob just sort of clenched up for a moment. It's probably not because he suddenly had to use the restroom, as he's kind of like shaking, and you can see like over his metal armor just some sparks. It is a dry heat, could be static electricity, but
But
what would you like to do?
running low on things to do. I am casting Aura of Vitality. I'm dropping Locate Creature.
Okay.
And I am giving 6 points to Celine.
Okay.
Thank you.
That takes my action and bonus action, so.
So, Celine, you are bathed in this radiance, and Casimir, the sand dog that is prowling around you, starts glowing faintly. Celine, you do not recover 6 hit points.
Oh,
That's a
dicks!
dick move. Oh no.
Anything else, Mordecai?
I'm out of. Alright, well,
Anything you can do, I can do worse.
that's
Oh
all my
my,
actions.
Derek, oh my.
Okay. Jacob, you finish quivering from an electrical pulse that just coursed through your body. You don't have a sand dog on you, but you do see that your face is sort of like pushing out like at the end of a tongue from this creature, like towards Bright. You see that a sand dog Mordecai is on Celine, and you have a Bright and Celine sand dog on Casimir. You are free to move about the desert, though. You can.
Captain
Now,
has turned
just
off
so I
the fasten
understand the
seatbelt sign.
context here. So I understand the context. What it appears to be is every time we do damage to one of these sand dogs, whoever's face the sand dog has is who also takes the effect.
Yes, the sand dogs seem to have their own attacks and saves and armor class, but from what you've witnessed, obviously if one hits you, it's hitting you. That's DM privilege to have something not be completely topsy turvy. But if you hit Bright Sand Dog, Sand Bright or whatever, Bright Dog, whatever, Floofy. If you hit Floofy, then Bright, the gnome, will presumably be taking the impact of your attacks. If, however, you treat Bright like a golf ball with your Warhammer, you would presumably be affecting the Bright Sand Dog.
Well, then there's only one thing we can do in process of elimination. If I can't hit any of the others without hurting the ones in the party, then I'm going to go after myself. Because I've always been kind of curious on how tough I am.
Okay, describe what you're doing.
Well, this hammer, it wasn't exactly built for tickling, now was it?
All right.
Bash yourself in the head with a hammer?
I'm gonna end up bashing the sand dog.
All right. Go ahead and this is you have this thought in mind, and of course you're in the context of a surreal place. However, investigator Jacob Stillwater certainly still has that instinct to survive and not perish. So what I want you to do is make all of your attacks against yourself. They're going to be, at least this round, is going to be a disadvantage because there's still that part of you that's, I kind of like all my teeth.
Well, thankfully I got 3 attacks, so I'm gonna move up to the sand dog that I'm currently. That's my face.
Sure.
And first one goes to me.
Okay.
I cannot hit the, built tough. Okay.
Yeah.
Second one. Oh, there we go.
Hey.
Of course, it's the crit.
All right. So it's you brace yourself and you try, and the first, I don't know, it like dings.
It hits the neck.
Yeah.
Piece. The next one, it's like something gets in the way. Why is it?
Kind of pull your punches.
Damn my armor for doing exactly what it was meant to do.
Yeah. So eventually, it comes to my head. Stop trying to put the hammer to the target. Put the target onto the hammer.
All right, so Jacob, you headbutt your own warhammer for 11 bludgeoning
Only
damage.
7 at disadvantage, you said, right?
Oh, what's that?
You said it was at disadvantage this
That
round,
plus
right?
4
Yeah,
is
so it wouldn't be the crit.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, so 7. Yeah. That's right.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, now that my nose has been readjusted.
You impact and Jacob, there is this, when that hits, for that moment, there is just, you feel the cartilage give way beneath your skin. You know, you hear the crunch in your head. And as the hammer comes away, there's no blood on you. But you do see that the nose that is over bright, now there's like a streak of blood mixing down with the clear drool that is pouring out of this thing's face. And you see that its nose is crunched. But you felt the pain, and you heard the crunch, and it was very uncomfortable. But after a second, you sort of remanifest as you.
So I have no damage, is what you're telling me.
You have Bright's lightning damage, but you do not have damage from yourself. You have damaged Jacob Dogwaters.
Celine will
Or Still
see
Dog.
Jacob turn to her, and there's this smile of catharsis coming over him.
Investigator?
Hold still.
No, I don't think I want to.
Casimir, meanwhile, a short distance away, you have two of these predators swirling around you. Their tongues are hanging out, the amount of drool, like, these are like two Ahego faces, sand dogs here, that are just, like, swirling around you, just, and, what are you doing?
I'm going to order my camels to attack everybody except for Jacob, because there's only 7 of them.
Okay, so you want to order your camels to, like, stampede over? Huh.
They have a bite attack. Basically, 1 camel to each person and each camel.
All right, hang on, let me load up. I never...
Hit the sand dogs.
It's 1d4 bludgeoning damage.
Do you have the camel stat block up? Because I'll just have you.
Yes.
All right.
Camel.
You have 7 camels. You're gonna order them to bite. All right. You assign the camels and have them bite whoever you want them to bite.
Let me just roll 70 20s. All right.
Well, the armor class is gonna be
Yeah, I know.
different for.
Oh, I should have. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to declare the targets for the.
Yeah, so don't worry about those rolls. You just say I want to send 3 camels after Celine or something, or.
I'm just gonna go in order of the screens.
Oh, okay? You just want to cycle them through. All right, sure. So the
Yeah,
first one's on
so-
Celine.
Well, my screen.
Well,
So 3 plus 5, right?
Oh well, 8 doesn't hit me, of course.
Okay. So then it would be 16 for Bright's sand dog.
Ooh, 1 second. Let me go back to that book. No. It goes to bite, and the camel lips just kind of, and its tongue leaves a little lick on it.
I feel all snurfled.
That's a dervish one.
Then it will be 14 plus 5 to Celine.
Yeah, nope, that's gonna hit me.
Roll 1d4.
All right, so
You take 3 damage.
Celine, just this is a bad situation. Mordecai's trying to bite you, and just over your shoulder, a long tan snout just sort of.
Have a strength modifier?
And as you look over, this thing just opens it. The camel opens its mouth,
No.
and honks like right on your nose, and would have like. And for a moment, you feel your skin tear beneath the powerful jaw and teeth of the camel as your nose is ripped away. Then you shake it off a moment. There's a flash of pain. You touch your nose, and it is still there. However, Casimir, you do see that Dogomir, Kazadog, is now like has a bloody
Celine?
yeah. Well, I'm sorry. Yeah. So Casimir, the Celine dog is on you, and
Sandlane.
I'm sorry, Sandling. All right. Is sort of like hanging by like a few fleshy strips because it was just bitten by a camel. All right, next one.
The next one will be 19 towards Santaline.
That will hit.
That is 4 damage.
Celine,
Ow!
you just suddenly feel like someone went in for like a tickle, and then you just get a bite on your side.
Then
What the hell?
It will be 16 to Mordecai.
16 will hit.
1d4. 1 damage.
Okay. Mordecai, this vicious camel came right for the tuft at the end of your tail. And like, as you're trying to like tune it in and focus your magic, you know, it's just, you're watching what's going on and you're distracted for a moment. A camel just comes over and just nips the tip. And it just, you just get that tingle up your body. And, however, Celine, the Mordog Kai, just sort of like, rawr, like gives a shriek of pain. All right, next up.
Next up is 4 plus 5. That won't hit the Mordecai Sandog. Then
No.
9 plus 5 to hit the Jacob Sandog.
That will not hit. No.
Okay, so the rest do not.
All right. The battlefield. The battlefield has been joined now by 7 camels, 5 party members, and 4 sanddogs. We have a swirling. And Jasper. Oh, that's right. Jasper could be in this too. I'm sorry, we missed Jasper. We'll say that we'll get him worked in here. In fact, here before I do anything, Mordecai, we'll say that being cautious and especially carrying the passenger in that first round, Jasper was being defensive. Like making sure that nothing was going to come up, you know, there's whatever. But here, for our round 2, and we'll just have Jasper act on your turn to make things simple right now. Go ahead. What do you want Jasper to do?
So since I can communicate with him telepathically, and
Okay.
I'm seeing that this is something that is going on, that hitting the griffin, hitting the sand dogs affects us, and hitting us affects the sand dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Who is he closest to?
Let's see. Jasper is closest to Bright. And Bright has Jacob Dogwaters on him.
So he's gonna take a swipe at her
Okay.
to attempt to affect her sand dog.
Ooh.
Boop.
Oh,
All right. Yeah.
Boop.
17 hits.
All right, so Bright, this Jasper snapped. He's gone feral. Just when you were trying to make a connection with him through the tunnels, you had a moment. He comes up and just comes down and tries to like tear at the sinew in your neck. And for a moment, you just feel a rip. It hurts. And then there's a claw around you. And just as the pointy bits of the claw are sinking in to your tender gnome flesh, the pain and the sensation go away, and instead. This is going to be 18 damage going to the Bright Dog here. Okay, now we're over to, unless there's anything else for Jasper.
Nope.
Okay.
That's it.
All right. Now I get to act here,
I
and
haven't actually taken my turn.
oh shoot, I'm sorry. I was just I put Jacob
I was
and.
controlling camels.
Yeah. That doesn't require an action. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Casimir, finish your turn.
Unfortunately, I need to concentrate, so the camels are going to go.
Okay, so the camels were a one strike, sort of a carpet bomb of bites and salivation. Now you're going to Zephyr strike. Okay.
Who's the closest to me?
Both Bright Dog and Sandine are
Person-wise.
person-wise. Oh, okay. Person-wise, why that would happen to be Mordecai.
What? I'm sorry. I am going to be running. I do not get the opportunity attacks with the fish strike.
Okay.
I'm going to be running at Mordecai with a battle axe. In the desert.
Taking out the competition.
Knowing what this is going to do, I'm bracing myself.
Hopefully Casimir means this to transfer into the Sand Dogs, right? Kaz? Kaz?
Right,
We're
guys?
friends, Kaz, right?
Right?
I
12
don't...
does not hit.
Yeah, 12 wouldn't hit.
So, nothing.
Is anyone with an advantage since Casimir's not up against defending target? Mordecai isn't like
Mordecai, yeah, Mordecai still has this survival instinct, hasn't necessarily been blooded, so I would say this is at disadvantage for these, because he still has this survival instinct. There was this camel that just nipped his tail, like, this is mass confusion, cats and dogs living together.
I will just use my Zephyr Strike for advantage then.
Sure, so that'll cancel out and you'll get a normal attack with your next one.
This pathetic.
Oh.
Normal attack, 27 will hit.
Yeah, you sneak that one in there.
Zephyr Strike, you also get the +2 for... Oh, and you've taken damage.
Where is your... So, in the second strike, where are you impacting Mordecai? You chopping his tail off? Going for the head?
I think I'll be aiming for midsection.
Okay, we're just gonna eviscerate him with your battle axe. Okay.
Yep.
Gonna gut me.
Yeah.
Their face is too beautiful to hit.
Aww.
I
It'll look good stuffed and mounted on his cabin wall.
at least Casimir is keeping in mind the age-old adage of not the face.
Not the face.
All right.
And that was my turn.
All right. So, Celine, the sand dog and you kind of, and you just see kind of drips of blood onto the sand from its midsection where it's prowling next to you. Okay. I'm sorry, Casimir. Was there anything else that you wanted to do?
Nope, that was it.
Okay. Let's see. I have Jacob on Bright. I see no reason to stop this advance. And so I will attempt to bite Bright. All right. And that will so
Ew.
it goes and you do like a little twirl out of the way, and it goes to snap, and as it does, like you try to go for you try to avoid the face, and in the last second, Bright, you realize that its jaws, like the biometal hood, can also like snap forward also to, like, if it caught you, it would like bring you to the face that's inside the beak, but you managed to dodge that. And so next up, I have Mordecai on Celine, and I am going to attempt to do the same thing here. I said attempt, in all fairness. All right. And so Mordecai attempts to do the same thing, like the jaws snap forward, and you manage to get them out of the way as they retract back towards his open mouth. And now I have a Bright and a Celine, yeah.
It's the Casimir.
And Casimir, I'm gonna have Bright try and attack you. Ooh, all right. So that is a 23. I presume that's going to hit.
Yes, I don't think I can do anything about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so, oh, whoops. This is better. Okay. The beak reaches out and ends up like right in your shoulder, and you're drawn partially into the mouth, and you just feel this gnome's mouth just sink into you, and you're gonna take 24 piercing damage as the beak retracts back, and you just see you see Bright gnawing on your arm, and she lets it go, and there's saliva coming down. Now Celine is going to turn on Jacob and is going to try and snap jaw at Investawoo Jacob Dogwaters.
Try me.
I tried. And so
Thank you very much for taking my dice.
someone's got it. All right, so its jaws like
Appreciate
it turns towards you, and its jaws like launch out, and you wedge your shield as the beak closes, and you hear an echoing scream from back in the back of the beak, and in frustration, it opens its jaws, and you get that retracts back to show a very frustrated Celine. Those were my sand dogs, and so now we go to Sandine here. Sandine, what are you doing? You have a Mordecai on you.
Yeah, I kind of half turned to Jacob, and she's like, I know what you're thinking. And I'm inclined to agree. And I'm going to move towards Jacob.
Okay.
Attack of Oppie if you want it.
Yes, as you're not disengaging.
Nope. Nope.
You know, it sounded really scary and intense in my head. All right, you
With those modifiers, it probably would. You have Eric dice today.
It snaps at you. Its beak kind of launches forward to pull you into the face, but you deftly you do a little pirouette out, and
First off, bonus action, I'm gonna launch the spiritual weapon to make an attack against Jacob.
As a reaction, I drop my shield.
It's gonna matter, she crit.
It's the follow-up attacks I'm wondering about. But I purposely dropped my shield, and my AC is now 16.
you turn around to Celine, and as you do, like, you're focused on her, and you're just like, bring it, and
That's
then
maximum damage on the crit.
then just Jacob, you look down as from behind this spiritual scythe pierces through your chest, and you look down as this thing just from behind, this spiritual weapon, and slink, like, and you could feel it moving through your organs for that second. But you're fine, and instead,
It's gonna take more than a poke in the ribs to put this old dog down.
all right,
Then a sunblade attack, right?
that was the spiritual weapon.
That's a spiritual weapon. She gets up to him, places her head square over his, on his face, and is like, "Oh, I know." And in Celestial, she's gonna try and yell destroy, but it's not gonna work as she attempts to inflict wounds and just completely misses.
Pencils in your hand.
It's like, wow,
Touch him
really?
awkwardly.
All
Awkwardly
the time.
instead.
Jacob, is this a like a Sable intervention in some way?
I imagine it's one of those things where Celine tried to play dirty and place a hand in an unmentionable portion.
Oh.
Make it personal. And as she tried to end up doing that, little hair starts tangling up her and start twisting her fingers back. Like, okay.
Like, wow,
apparently that's
really?
crossing the line.
It has to fizzle now of all time.
All right, Celine, you tried to go for a monkey grabs the peach, but unfortunately the peach grabbed back, and this dark hair roils out and just absorbs the magic of your spell.
Natural 20, natural 1. Welcome to D&D, ladies and gentlemen.
Feast or famine.
Please let it be my turn.
It's Christmas time in
I think it's
hell.
my turn.
Yep, we're going back up to Bright.
Okay. So, as much as I'm enjoying the party beating up on each other, I'm more interested in getting rid of the sand dogs as quickly as I can.
Sure.
So, the having seen what's going on and pretty much understanding the rules now, would I still have disadvantage if I attacked myself?
Because let's see, you have been no, you would not. You've been attacked by a camel, and so while uncomfortable, you are intimately aware, like you're bodily aware. So no, you can attack yourself if you wish.
Yeah, that was quite a snurfle the camel gave me.
Yeah.
Okay, so I will hit myself with a shocking grasp.
Does it? No.
It's not gonna do
No.
it.
Okay, I don't know. You go to like grab your head or something, and at the last moment, no.
It's a pleasant tingle rather than a deadly shock.
Yeah, no, I mean I'm just experimenting, and actually on a low power setting that actually feels really good. So I think I'll try that
yeah.
again later. But for now, I didn't do any damage.
Okay. It kind of tingles a little bit here. All right. Next up we have Mordecai.
I'm still concentrating on Aura Vitality. How many
Yeah.
rounds was that? I don't remember.
This is the start of round 3.
Concentration when I hit you?
Did you hit me, or did you hit me to hit the sand dog?
Well, I hit you to hit the sand dog, but I still hit you.
I mean, if you didn't take any damage, then
I didn't take any
No,
damage. so
It was kind of tense there for a moment. You probably like clenched up, but you didn't lose concentration.
Okay.
So would
That's
this
how
be
that works.
the third round?
This is the beginning of round 3 for you. Yes.
Okay, so this is the third round. Aura Vitality is up. So, I'm going to Aura Vitality the Celine dog
Oh, all right.
for 2d6 health hit points.
Okay. All right, Celine. A warm fuzzy feeling, not unlike a peach, envelops you, and you feel better. Anything else, Mordecai?
Yes. My own turn. I am going to. What am I doing?
don't forget Jasper.
Yeah, and Jasper will go after you.
Jasper goes. I am. You know what? I'm gonna try and viciously mock Jacob.
What are you saying to Jacob? You have to attack him after all.
After all,
The beacons are lit.
I'm terrible at insults, but it's gonna be something about him being bald.
Oh, make something up. Come on.
Green Shield calls for aid!
I'm the worst at insults. Is that a mirror on your head? I don't know.
Or are you just happy to see me?
Make a save. Fail the save, please. He fails the save.
Ask and ye shall receive. Jacob, for a moment, that actually kind of hurt, and then it passes. And 8 psychic damage.
Yes, and there's also an effect, I believe. Disadvantage on the next attack for Jacob Dog.
Okay. You don't have to worry about that because the Jacob dog on Bright kind of gives like a whimper, and it like goes to touch its head, and then it just sort of like vanishes.
All right. Cool. That went down. Cool beans.
Okay. Anything else, Mordecai? Otherwise, it's Jasper.
No, that's it for me. Jasper is gonna take a swipe I guess at whoever's closest. I don't remember where he is. For player characters, whoever he's closest to.
I believe that was on Bright because I remembered puncturing her torso.
Yes.
10 is no good. 10 is no good.
Bright just kind of like tingled out of the claws of the griffin here, and
He was feeling a little hesitant. He didn't want to hurt
Yeah.
you.
Well, that was so nice of him. But it's okay. Only
That's
just
nice.
this once.
Okay. Now we're over to Jacob. Jacob, what would you like to do here?
Oh. What I would like to do? Well, at this point, exercise catharsis. Grabs hold of the base with the second hand. Looking at
Oh,
Celine.
yeah, you don't have a shield anymore. You can two-hand this.
And, yeah, let's go for broke.
14 hit you,
Of course,
Celine?
Derek Dice returns. Derek Dice
Oh.
returns.
The second one does hit me.
All right. All right, so
For minimum damage.
Jacob, there's you're like, oh, this is gonna feel, and there's, I don't know, maybe there's that moment of hesitation, like, oh, I shouldn't, but it'll feel so good. And a desert wind is kicked up around you, Celine. All right, if there's nothing else, then we're gonna go on to Casimir.
Guess I will continue to hit on,
That's how you do a
Mordecai.
vicious mockery.
That is scathing.
So tell me, when your sister took everyone in the inn, is that a family profession or just taught by to her by your mother?
I really should have used that for the next
We are in the desert for
That's
good
pretty
burns.
vicious.
Casimir, what are you doing here?
I am going to hit on, or I mean, just hit Mordecai.
All right. Yep. You. I imagine 20 successfully hits on Mordecai.
20 will hit, yes.
Okay.
Then that is dueling and classes.
All right.
I'm just checking if that's one to put or not. One to put. And then extra attack.
Okay. Wow. Nice. Double. Yes, they're natural. So yeah, the double 28s are double crit. So first things first. As you come up and you successfully hit on Mordecai, and I mean you hit Mordecai so hard that he just sort of like schisms and falls in half and disappears. And then you can turn around and you can launch yourself. We still have a Bright and we still have a Celine. Which would you like to attack, Bright or Celine?
Who's closest?
I'm gonna say it's equidistant, so you get to choose. Follow your heart.
I'm going to go for Bright because she hasn't been taking that much damage.
Okay. All right. So just with this gleam in your eye, Casimir, you're now gonna try and pounce Bright, and you just like bunch up and you come down, and Bright. For a second, there's just a shadow that falls over you. And you're like, there's not enough clouds in the... And then a silhouette that quickly becomes Casimir as just comes rocketing down. And right between the eyes, like embedded in your skull with the precision of the hunter that he is. Just this battle axe. And for the first time in your life, you can think two different thoughts as your brain flickers as it's been segregated into its two hemispheres. Before recombining back together for one full thought. And that is going to be... And that... so the same... what's going to happen now is Casimir... the Bright that was behind you, you just you just hear, it sounds like it sounds like a gnomish word. It's like, garble, but it's actually just the sound of it dying as its face is like kind of splits and falls in half.
That's weird because that's actually the gnomish word for I'm dying.
This is wagarble. Oh, wagarble.
Oh, the bonus section though.
That bonus action though, Celine remains.
Yeah, I'll just go over to Celine. I will not get the opportunity attacks because
Yep.
the Zephyr Strike is still up.
Yep.
Zephyr
Yep.
Strike, yeah.
That's why I couldn't penalize you for bounding away.
I do not have another bonus action. I don't think though.
Okay.
That is all.
All right. So you're there. Yo, you got this adrenaline rush. You're heaving. Man, this sweet dry heat back in your lungs. I don't know. Maybe a part of you like recalls those days. But if there's nothing else and we don't have camels, I have one more sand dog remaining, and so Casimir, this one is going to look at you, and its beak is going to once more try and snap out because Celine wants to gobble you up.
No.
All right.
No, not in a million years.
Where's my little pupper? Oh, there he is. Okay.
So, wait, is there just the is there just the big dog left?
Yeah. .23 piercing as once more Celine like kind of gets your other arm and you're drawn in, and she gives you quite a nibbling. And then the beak retracts once more, and you're just covered in Celine moistness. Okay. It's over to Sandine. Sandine, you are left.
Give me a second.
Fortunately, you can move freely because Mordecai has dissipated into sand.
Okay, so there's just the me one left.
There's but it's not on you, so you can move or position yourself, and your spiritual weapon is still out too.
I'm gonna make the spiritual weapon over to me and attack myself.
Okay.
That'll
Yeah,
miss.
let me help.
You may do so. Does a 16 hit you?
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
Free action. I'm gonna drop the shield
Okay.
to make this easier, and then I am going to attempt to. I'm gonna subject myself to my own magic, and
Sure.
Yeah, no, that's definitely gonna hit. That's
Okay.
Gonna be at that level there. And it's gonna be 22 points
Ooh.
of necrotic damage, which
Don't take this away from me, Maddie.
All right.
as she basically just grabs herself and begins pumping herself full of necrotic energy, kind of screaming in pain as she does so, because that shit hurts.
Yeah. So you know how your face was just partially skeletonized? Yeah, now it's completely skeleton. Like, all you see, like, Celine just opened the Ark of the Covenant and looked. Like, just layer, like, the skin peels back, the muscle, and the eyes kind of roll back, and the eyes kind of white and melt and roll back. Now, for Investawoo Jacob Dogwaters or Sandwaters, this is going to dissipate the This is going to dissipate Celine the Sand Dog with the damage. And even still, we would have had Bright and Mordecai and Jasper. However, it may not be the same, but Bright still is holding one in stasis. So if you have something special planned, Casimir is just sitting right over there. He probably has his back to you also. You might want to wait till it manifests again, though. Otherwise, that could be murder.
I feel robbed. That's what I feel.
Yeah, riddle me this. Riddle me this. What would you like to do?
Don't worry about it.
No.
We'll go with just. So it's gonna be what? It's Casimir's turn, or we're waiting on Casimir.
Okay, so it's going back up to Bright. The only sand dog remaining is the one that's been banished. So Bright's holding on to that, and it's her turn.
Yeah. So I think we should all. I'd like to hold it just in case it is gone permanently. But if it's not, we should all just gather around Casimir and get ready to, run him through when it reappears.
All right.
And it'll only be another 20 or 30 seconds.
All right. Do you all want to set up a murder circle around Casimir?
Yeah, sure.
Sure. I'm setting up a vicious mockery.
Okay.
Now I gotta think of more material.
So
I'm gonna use one of the ones that you already put.
Casimir,
I'm not going to make this easy for you.
I was just going to ask: Are you sort of like? Do you want to go into the soldiers? Like the soldiers' execution, where you're sort of like kneeling with the back of your neck exposed because you just want to make it quick, or are you looking at this like I'm going to make you work for this, and you're going to be all dodgy and combative?
Come and get me.
Okay.
It's not my thing.
Well, that's the thing. If Bright is holding on to the spell, then you all have like 30 seconds to do something.
I'm dashing. Zephyr strike, so you can't get
Really? How far can that take you?
Yeah, how far can that take you?
Hold on. Hold on, it is...
Trying to run from the long arm of the law?
I haven't broken any laws here. I told you I wasn't going to make it easy.
You forget, I have Dimension Door, and I have 2 spell slots.
And, I have more spell slots than you do.
Yes, Casimir looks back to Jacob. I've broken no laws. With Zephyr Strike, I've only broken the wind! And...
After this, though, Mordecai's going to insist that they take a rest.
Okay, so Casimir wants to play coy in the desert.
Oh, you know what? Is everyone around me?
In the current moment, it is Bright's round.
We haven't decided what it is that we're doing because you keep saying that you're going to dodge out of the way and go and run. So...
I just want everything to be fun. You guys need to understand the thrill of the hunt.
Jack?
I am willing to be the prey if you guys are willing to learn.
Jack?
A blue sort of like tendril kind of peels up off of Celine's complete face.
Do me a favor and put Celine's face on Casimir. I feel like I'm going to need some motivation for this.
Celine, the kind of Jack tendril kind of like pours around your face and looks at you.
It's like, go on.
Don't touch me, little creature.
And
I've had enough of fake creatures on me.
This fey entity, just like kind of.
I will hit you with
like a bulbous boil, just blue glowing one, and in a second it just and just sort of face huggers onto you here, Casimir, and just you try and like you pull, but Jack just sort of like sits on you like a skin, and all of you see Celine's face on Casimir's body.
And Spike rolling the ground around them.
Oh my!
This does break my Zephyr Strike concentration. For a moment, but I can dash.
Okay.
All right. Is the sand dog back yet?
How can you dash if that's an action?
You can't. No.
On
Yeah,
my
yeah,
next
dash.
turn. We're still waiting for the dog.
I mean, I wanted to
Yeah.
hold it in case it never came back, but I don't want to be the only one who's here when it gets back. That's not
No.
that's not good.
I'm staying put. Yeah.
I am waiting for Casimir to come down, and I place my warhammer to the side and drawing a hand axe.
Okay.
Also, while that's going on, I want to try for the last 30 seconds to be able to heal people with Aura Vitality.
Okay.
'Cause I have 30 seconds left on that.
All right. I'll tell you what we'll do. Since we're running up to time, you all have this figured out, and Casimir is invested in making it fun. What we'll do is Bright will continue to hold on to the sand dog as Casimir goes whoop 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 whoop, whoop around the sands. Kind of doing that anime, like turns around, kind of like pats his ass, come and get it if you want it, and is going to make this a bit of a fun hunt. And so Mordecai, roll your healing.
For 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Who wants it? Because I'll roll it individually.
Definitely need it. I'm
I
hurt
also
pretty bad.
need some.
Give it to me. Make it interesting.
That's one for Celine.
While this is going on, at some point in time, Bright is going to release the Casimir, and it's going to pop back into reality. It didn't actually vanish. And so, Jacob, what I will do, because other people have cantrips, like you have Vicious Mockery, Mordecai, and Bright, you might have some ranged attacks if you wanted to try and bring it down as well.
Yeah, I have a fireball.
Because Casimir is kind of a dodgy armored boy here, I will say under fire of the four of you, Jacob, I will give you 2 rounds to do something, or at least to try and roll something or interact. But you have 2 full rounds of actions you can take on Celine as he's going around the desert, pinned down, or you actually catch him with something.
Put him down.
Okay,
I'm gonna put him down.
sure.
Mordecai, the
The last
Not a-
for you, Bright.
last 3 or 2?
Are you next
Last
to me
three.
yet? Because I cast.
Okay, so 21 athletics, Casimir. See if
he has
you.
to get through the spikes first.
Oh. What is that?
He does need to get through the spikes.
Does
It's
he?
2d4 per 5 big travel.
I,
Does he cast it? Oh,
Yeah.
well, actually, no. No, he doesn't.
but okay. Yeah, no, that's
Okay, so yeah. So you're the black hair, what, it like surrounds you or like lifts you up like stilts over the spikes?
Oh, this is swallowed into the sand, and like some form of nightmare fuel. Casimir, as they're running, he sees black hairs coming all around. All of a sudden, under his feet, as a hand grabs him forth and starts pulling him into the sand. Jacob's eyes seem to be rolled into the back of his
You do get an
Okay.
athletics or acrobatics.
Oh, not enough. Jacob and Casimir flexing on each other. They're wrestling in the sand, going ooh, ah, and all sorts of other noises. And however, Jacob, you have Casimir pinned or kind of like sand entombed, in a sense, like it.
sand coffin.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you have sand coffined Casimir, and you have one more round to do something. to Casimir, this would be you'd be at
I'm
advantage.
just saying, if he's in the sand, shouldn't that be disadvantage?
Right, but you can't move, and he's on you, and your face is right there, and he has a hatchet. So.
No, if he's in the sand grabbing me.
Oh no, like you were sunk into the sand, and now he's atop you.
Yeah, he's climbing out of the sand like some kind of majestic.
Hold on. The first one will hit, the rest will not.
It's advantage because you're prone.
Yeah.
He pulled you prone, so the
grappled,
first,
at
the
least.
two.
He
Wait, was it just
prone,
grappled or
but
did you actually?
he
The
I'm
athletics
gonna
is
let
to
the
grapple you.
DM.
Well, it's not so much prone. It's like because you're grappled, and so it's
Yeah, so it would
So
be
the
the
rest
first
will
hit,
not
hit. Yeah, the first hit hits. The second two don't.
Mhm.
The
Okay.
others.
so 9 damage.
All right. So Jacob, you have caught Celine. You've put Celine into this sand tomb, and you're gonna get several and just. Yep. This is an anime episode at the beach where we have a watermelon and a stick. All right. So Casimir, like you.
Gets the turn. That's the question.
We're just going. This is months of aggression just being taken out in a single moment. That's all this is. This is catharsis.
You
For
didn't wait for the sand dog.
well, for the sake of brevity, because I gave Jacob 2 rounds and everyone had 2 rounds, it is absolutely feasible that the 4 of you can bring down enough of the hit points these things had, and so
Yeah, no, I'm saying that he wait for the sand dog to come out.
yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't
Wait
know
for
it
the
was
sand
that.
dog to come out before he's done.
Yeah,
and
he.
put him down.
I mean, unless he snapped and actually murdered you.
Like
That's what I was asking, because I thought we were saying 2 rounds.
In which
Before
case,
the
Bright
sand
from
dog
like
comes
a sand dune over can just look at Jacob and go, "Ha!" And yeah. But all right. So
We just need to make this clear though, because we're getting a little off topic. So
yeah,
yeah.
that's fair.
It was after the Sandog was released from the management that he hit you.
Okay, I didn't know it was released.
Yes.
I thought that we had 2 rounds before it was released.
no, it was released, and in the 2 rounds that it was spawned back into this world, between all of your efforts, but everyone else has range stuff
It was a
that they can do.
fast-forward moment.
Yeah, it was a bit of a fast forward moment, and especially because lethality has to get going. So, but there was only one sand dog left, and you guys figured out the puzzle. So,
Okay.
but no one can deny, Casimir, that you are sassy and you put up a hell of a fight, and you taunted people. And I will say that as like Jacob, as you pull the hatchet up out of Celine's face, you just see that there's like this blue that sticks to it and peels up off of Casimir, and then just sort of like drips off, so Casimir, you're back to yourself.
So did I actually take that damage?
No.
No.
No, the sand dog.
You don't take any of the damage.
Yeah, no, that's was like, oh, yeah.
Right. Yeah, you needed to be the receptacle for damage, but you passed it on like a hot potato. Okay. So, what is going to happen is Jack is going to just start having an absolute giggle fit and is going to start laughing and just rolling, and like even kind of like bloop goes down a little dip in the sand. That was fun. I could did you feel it? Did you feel how fun that was? Did you feel that release? That's exactly the spirit of the Fae. And for the frolic, like as the sand now starts to like pool and everything darkens, and we turn back now into we turn back now into one of the caverns, not occupied by this this Dargan here. As it turns back into one of the watery caverns, you know that the sand is just water. There's a faint glow instead of a sun and all this. You see that the ambient, there's kind of a low ambient light, kind of chuckles along with Jack, and as the flashes pulse over you, each of you feel a vigor, and all of you are going to receive a short rest as Jack is absolutely just rolling at the antics that just took place in front of him. And it
Don't get spell slots back.
And-
that was much shorter than it
punt
should
you,
have been.
Jack.
and it
I'm
is
gonna punt you into the wall.
it is here we will
He's
break.
right. It was kind of fun. I mean, I know we've had a lot of tension building up, and it was good to get some of it out.
Definitely.
Especially once we figured it out. I mean, if
Could
we hadn't
really
figured it
use
out
a
so
long
fast,
rest.
it could have been pretty tough. But we figured it out pretty quick, and I mean, I agree. It was kind of fun. Don't you guys think it
I
was
mean,
kind of fun?
I mean,
And I learned a
it
great
was too
thing.
short. It was too
I
short.
suppose it was kind of fun to stab Jacob through the chest with my spiritual weapon.
I mean, I learned a great new use for shocking grasp, so that's good too.
Celine just looks to Brian and she's just like, right, I didn't know you were capable of such things.
I'm 120.
But you figured out a new thing after 120 years.
Oh, yeah. Nobody knew.
Learn new things every day, even at that age.
So I gotta run.
Yep, yeah, I was going to say lethality, you have Gathering of Nerds. Real quick before you do, what is the level and the theme of your this weekly one shot?
The prompt is bound and the level is 13.
Bound and 13. And you mentioned artificers. Are you splashing some Eberron into this?
Well, I'm splashing some artificer specifically. He's a crossbow engineer, the character that I'm playing tonight.
Okay.
So it's on point for the magical items and the making of technology and stuff. Okay, so I will go and.
All right, then yeah, you get going, and I'll look for your flare in our Discord. Until then, I guess we'll play some Jackbox games together after another little break here, and then we'll come and give you a raid. Yeah.
Sounds good.
So,
Alright.
Mordecai, would you like to end up listing off some of the vicious mockeries that could have been?
That could have been used.
Because that was coming up.
Yes, you are quite good at the insults, and I would have used them.